Hello, hello. It's Tuesday, August 20th. Drinking from my favorite coffee mug. Got it at Yellowstone, the buffalo. That's like my spirit animal. Today I'm talking about if you're poor, how to get rich. It's an interesting subject because there's a lot of books that have been written on all this, and a lot of people have said this. And growing up poor, I guess I would say, we were poor. Now, we weren't like impoverished. We had everything we needed. My dad always worked, and the bills always got paid. We always ate. And there were different times growing up where I knew that my folks had a little more money they were working with, and then a little less money. We would go on vacations, not every year, but we would go on vacations, and through my dad's job, we were able to do things like travel with him and things like that. He was in the ministry, Christian ministry, for a long time, and the professional, the paid ministry, because yeah, whatever. That's a different conversation. But we got to travel from time frequently with the folks. Frequently, once or twice per year, we'd go with them. And the way we were able to do that is my dad's work would pay for his travel, and then my folks would pay for our travel, sort of a thing. So it wasn't that like there's a lot of people that have accused us of a lot of things. There were a lot of people who back in the day, because I had a band and we were playing huge shows, and it was at this time we're going through this church split, and then members of my own family, members of my own uncle. I remember that my own uncle started a rumor that my dad took all the church funds and promoted my band and my younger brother's band. My younger brother was signed to Sony. I remained independent, but we were like started hitting it, playing huge shows and regional. And it was crazy. It was fun. But a lot of these people who were offended with my folks for whatever reason, they would make rumors like that. And so, it's just funny. But because this is just a total creation of their imagination. And it's crazy. People build cities of thoughts in their minds. They engineer these huge, like New York City, of all these thoughts that are just false. It's unbelievable. And that's what I think, for all the good things social media is. It's so negative much of the time. And since the early 2000s now, most of us have been subjected to, influencers doing their influencing, selling their products, I put in the caption, but they sell some sort of a program that will help you make 10,000 a month or whatever. And there's a lot of good stuff out there. There's some great stuff. And there's other guys that are selling snake oil. I think a lot of it is snake oil. But I've purchased snake oil unknowingly. But there's only really, these guys, they talk about like Wes Watson's one of these guys. And Chris Crone, he's a real estate guy. He's about my age. And this dude, I don't know, I don't think he's a billionaire, but certainly centimillionaire. And oh my God, he drives me nuts. Like, he's brilliant. He's amazing. I like him. He just drives me nuts. If I had to hang around him all day, I'd lose my mind. I'm like, bro, you win. Don't worry. You win, bro. Before I'm even you win, dude. You're going to make more money than me in your life. You're going to, whatever you do, because there's this video of him going at 4:30 a.m. every day. I wake up and I do, meditation, and then at 5 a.m. my wife wakes up and we have tantric sex, and then at 6 a.m. we work out together, and then at 7 a.m. my kids are up and we're doing affirmations, and then at 7:30 they're, I'm just going, oh my God, I'm gonna, just listening to this gives me anxiety. But the guy has, incredible wealth, and it's great. I'm going, if you want that life, bro, go for it. A lot of it's your temperament. And so he's of course going to sell to people with that temperament, or people that align with his philosophy of how to get rich. And hey, Chris Crum, that's a great way to get rich. What he was doing a couple years ago, when I started to kind of get into real estate, he was one of those guys that I would listen to. And you can go to his company and you can actually partner with his company. And he searches the top 3 markets, real estate markets. He always knows. They research the top 300 real estate markets in the United States. I'm talking about localized, the best according to the data, and you can't predict, but the way that we invest, if you're a wise investor, is you look at history, because history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So we look at history, and then we look at probability. We look at charts. And there's no investor that had a crystal ball, but great investors the world over look at charts and they look at history. And so those are the 2 surefire ways to get rich is history and charts. And I guess if you want to add a third, mentorship. But what Chris Crone does is he says, okay, well, we're going to find the top 300. We're always going to know that data. He has that data. He knows those numbers. Done. He owns that information. And so he goes, okay, but we're only going to invest in the top 3 at any given time. So at any time, he's buying homes and properties and whatever in the top 3 out of the top 300 that he's researched, and he has the hard data. He takes the top 3 and he says, I'm going to invest in these areas. But what he's done is he's used you and I, the retail investors, who have an extra $25,000 to $100,000 per year ish. He'll tell you the number. But when I was talking with his people about 2.5 years ago, this is what it was: is if you want to invest, but you don't want to find the deal, but that you have a job, you don't necessarily want to be an entrepreneur, but you have an entrepreneurial gene to where you're like, well, I know that I can grow my money if I find the right investments. So he's finding the investments and you're bringing the capital. And so you can do that a number of times per year with him. But even if you did that once per year with him, after 5 years, he goes 50-50 as well in the deal. So if you bring the funds to close and down payment, all those things, all the cash to what do they call that? Cash to close. If you bring all that stuff, then you're going to cash flow with his properties every month, and then he manages it. He gets the tenants in there. He handles the insurance claims. He deals with all the headaches. You just act kind of like the bank. You're the capital investor, and then you own the property 50-50 with him. And then typically they're 2 to 5 year holds. So after 2 to 5 years, that market, according to his data, has increased in equity, and then they'll do some other play. They're probably flip it or cash out, 1031. I don't know everything that he's doing. And then you have opportunities to get in and get out of those deals. But that's a great way. If you don't want to go and learn how to find the deal, well, team up with some corporation or some individual or some academy or something that's finding the deals that they need funding for, and then you can put your dollars to work there. But okay, so that's one way to do it. Okay. But Chris Crone, that's where I was going, is Chris Crone has his philosophy. And then you take a guy like, who's this shilajit guy? I forget his name, Rob something. There's some other influencer guy who builds brands around whatever product. He did shilajit. He built his shilajit brand. I forget what it was. It's crazy the numbers he's doing with his shilajit brand after like a year, every month. Like this guy just takes brands and he explodes them. And so he'll teach you how to, you know, start your brand and market it. And if you do everything that he says, you'll explode it. Okay. So all those things, that's good. And then there's guys that, I mean, Roland Frazier. Well, I'll show you how to buy an existing business for zero money down. Well, that's impossible. How do you do that? No, it's not impossible. People do it every day. You can go to Crexy.com, and buy real estate, no money down. People whose homes have been on the market for over a year. Motivated sellers are everywhere. You just have to find them. There are tax lien lists, real estate. There's businesses. There's Bitcoin. There's starting a business. There's government contracting businesses where you can go start a business. You don't have to have any prior experience, and you can go bid on government contracts and win those. You can middleman for the government. So you can middleman HVAC and janitorial and weapons procurement and supplies procurement. And there's so many things you can do for the government. So what route do I take? But that's the question that the poor person has all the time. I remember being poor. I'm not poor. I would say that I'm rich, and I'm not rich because there's the 4 F's that I talk about: faith, family, finance, and fitness. And most of life, most of the issues of life fall under one of those 4 categories. Faith would be your spiritual life in God, and then your spiritual health, the state of your soul, those type of things. Faith, family is not just family, but all relationships fall under it's relationships. But faith, family, if we're going to stick with the F's, I forget what that's called, but if you stick with the F's, family, and that kind of, all your relationships fall under that. Faith, family, finance, and that's all your money stuff, your wealth, your investing, and then fitness, which is, of course, your health and the fuel for your body. And the fact that the pharmacy is not the real pharmacy. The food that you eat is the real pharmacy. It's about what we're putting into our bodies at a cellular level and how we're replenishing those cells. We're doing it with synthetics, or we're doing it with natural minerals and things like that. Anyways, so I've got a lot to say about all those things, but the one that we're talking about, when I say I'm rich, do I have millions of dollars in the bank? No, I don't know that you want millions in the bank, because if it's in the bank, well, the bank accounts, they only insure up to $250,000. So if you had like $10 million in a bank account and then the bank went belly up, which all the banks right now, it's unbelievable what people don't know about what's happening to them in terms of the credit game and lending right now, and how all the banking rules changed in March of 2024 that had been the same since 2008 after the housing crisis and the market reset, the market crash of 2008. How those rules changed, and now they've changed again in March of 24, which now we haven't really felt the shockwaves of that, but we're beginning to see that these regional banks are getting ready to fail. And it's not just like a few of them. It's not like even 50% of them. It's like 90+% of banks are on the brink of failure. We're looking at banks are sitting on over $500 billion of unrealized losses right now. They don't have enough liquid capital on hand to be able to back the loans that they've given out and the credit that they've issued. And so what's happening is the lender, the borrowers, the rules have changed. It's harder to get loans. The banks have tightened up. They have to have more liquid cash on hand to be able to loan according to the new rules. And when the banks issue, like with SVB that happened in 2023, which was one of the biggest banks that's ever failed, was Silicon Valley Bank. One of the biggest banks ever that failed was in 2023, SVB. And what happened is they had however many billions, they were in a deficit of however many billions that they needed to carry on their they needed that cash and that liquid cash on hand. They were billions of dollars underfunded, or whatever you say. I don't know all the precise words to use here, but I'm just giving you the gist of it, the high level overview and how I understand it. Basically, they announced that they had, billions of dollars in basically illiquidity, and then there was a run on the bank, and so everybody started to withdraw their cash. It's like It's a Wonderful Life with George Bailey. Okay, but that happened with Silicon Valley Bank. It wasn't just a local little credit union. It was like a major freaking bank, and they failed. And there was a run on it, and then if you had money in there, like Ben Mala, he lost $1 million in SVB. He's a real estate investor. This guy's a guru, and he had preferred stock in SVB, and he lost it all. And so there's a lot of people who are smart, who had a lot of money, who lost their money. So you don't want over $250,000 in your bank account. Okay, anyways. So, but then you look at guys like Warren Buffett. He's sitting right now on $277 billion of cash. That's crazy, because he knows that, that he's going to be able to get some good deals here coming up. So let's get to it. And I'm going to make it quick. Forget what you've heard from the gurus and from the influencers, and forget what the noise is all around you. If you could, for just like the next few minutes here, try to forget what you've heard about building wealth or becoming rich or whatever. Let's get on the level of clear understanding. What is rich? How do you define rich? And this is the way I define it. This is the way that I define it. Once all of your assets pay for all of your monthly expenses, you're rich. Let me say it again. Once all of your assets pay for all of your monthly expenses, you're rich. Does that make sense? Okay. This is something that poor people don't realize. It's not about your shilajit caca powder. It's not about your cold plunges. It's not about the Rolex. It's not about pleasing someone else. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. Okay? There's so many misconceptions. It's not about your meditations. It's not about your 4 a.m. cold plunges. It's not about that. That's all garbage. If anyone's told you, oh, if you implement this routine every day, and you do this every day, and you blah, 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 and you jelk every day, and blah, 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 and you're going to get, I'm just going, stop gyrating. Stop gyrating. Stop listening to all the noise and listen to what I'm about to tell you. My assets pay for all of my monthly expenses currently. I perform about 1 to 2 hours of work in my business every week. I'm not exaggerating. It's not always like this. But for the last 2 months, I've only put in about an hour or two per week in our practice. It was like a light switch flipped about 2 months ago. I'm not talking about passive income right now. Passive income is a myth, largely. It's largely a myth, unless you buy Bitcoin. Passive income is largely a myth. You're not going to get rich passively. You're not. At some point, you're going to sweat. At some point, you're going to worry. At some point, you're going to make a bad decision. At some point, the investment may not go according to plan. But let's stop all the noise and let's look at the one thing. Okay, it's not about your mindset. It's not. It's a little bit about your mindset, but it's not. You don't have to have some like affirmations you do every day. You don't have to grind yourself into the ground. I like to ebb and flow in my life. So there's more work at certain times, there's less work at other times. But for the past 2 months, the amount of work I've done in my businesses, both my real estate that I own and in the bookkeeping practice, 1 to 2 hours per week. I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't always like that. But this is what I'm telling you. All of my assets currently pay for all of my monthly expenses. And you know how many assets I have? 3. Bookkeeping practice. It's a business. I don't own the business. I'm a member in the business. I didn't say own real estate. I didn't say own businesses. I said you have to acquire assets. You don't always, you mean buy assets? No. No, silly. I didn't say buy assets because that doesn't always apply to acquiring an asset. You don't have to always buy an asset to be able to acquire it. That may go beyond your understanding right now, but you don't have to buy it. And certainly you don't have to spend your own money. You can, but you don't have to. Most of the time people do, but they don't have to. In certain deals you have to, you know what I'm saying? So there's exceptions to. These are not rules. I'm just saying, let's get it right up here first. It's not about your six-pack abs. It's not about you showing up to the mastermind once a week. All those things contribute, but I just go, stop the BS, stop the noise. Don't look to the right or to the left right now. Just look at what I'm saying to you. Every month, my assets give me money. They deposit money into my bank account. That's what my assets do. I have other assets that I'm developing. Okay. One of them, I don't know if it's a liability or an asset right now. Jury's still out. Okay. I'm not saying I'm a perfect investor. What I'm saying is once all of your assets pay for your monthly expenses, you're rich, because then it repeats every month. It repeats. So this is what I'm saying. If you're confused about how to get rich, this is how you get rich. There's nothing other than this one thing. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to have a network. You don't need nothing. You don't even need a mentor. Although that's one surefire way to get rich is if you get a mentor. But you don't need one. This is the only thing you need. This is the only thing you need to become rich. Assets. The poor people, the poor guys, they focus on their paycheck. I got to make more. 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 But if they never invest it, if they don't know what to do with it after they make it, you're always going to be in the trap of trying to make more, trying to earn more. It's not earning more. It's not bad to earn, but I don't want any of my income to be earned income. You don't want a W-2. If you make $1 million in your job, your W-2 job, you're going to get taxed like 50%, give or take 1 or 2 percentage points. You're going to get taxed like 50%. So you think, like I have a buddy who's great, making $200 a year, $200,000. Is that good money? I mean, for most people, it would be good money. But I go, well, it's all relative, because if it's based on what you want and what you want and what you need and the creativity that that and the expression that you need to give to your life and to the world with your life. What if really your appetite is you need to make $2 million a year to actually feel fulfilled, right? Well, you could be making $200,000, but I go, if you're not investing it, like some people make $200,000 and they invest 5% per year. I'm like, that's nothing, and they don't get it. They don't get it. $200,000 a year. It's like, is that good? Yeah, I mean that's good. To tell all the buddies that you went to high school with, that's good. Most of them are not going to be making $200,000 a year ever. Most of them, they may get to 100 at some point, but like, is that good? It's relative. So whatever's good for you, it doesn't really matter. The point is stop focusing on the paycheck. That's what I'm saying. Stop focusing on the paycheck and start focusing on the asset. The rich do one thing that the poor don't do. And this is the difference maker. They acquire assets. An asset pays you every month or regularly. It could pay you a quarter. It could pay you a semester. It could pay you annually. I like assets that pay monthly, but certain assets don't pay monthly. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going this every year. Every year. If you were able to acquire one asset every year that paid you, I'm not saying accumulating stuff and getting into debt up to your eyeballs to show off to people. That's not what I'm saying at all. And I'm not saying go buy a triplex property. I'm not saying get into real estate. That's not what I'm saying. Don't hear what I'm not saying. What I'm saying is this. There is no other thing that the rich do that the poor, there's no other thing. What am I saying? There's nothing that's more important the rich are doing that the poor are not. The rich are acquiring assets that pay them regularly. The poor are buying luxuries and liabilities. The poor are taught that a home, your personal home that you live in, is an investment. And for most people in the world, that is their biggest investment. But it's crazy because most of the time it's not an investment, or excuse me, most of the time it's not an asset because it doesn't pay them. And the amount of money to keep up a house that you can afford, it's probably 30 years old, 20, 30 years old, the house that, the average person may be able to, or older. Houses get old, they break down. You have to fix them. The foundation crumbles, the fences get blown over, the AC units need to be replaced, the freaking mold mitigation, the freaking, you know what I'm saying? It's constant. You got to trim the hedges. You got to spray for weeds. You got to, deal with tenants. It's not an easy game. It's not a passive game by any means. So I'm not saying to go do those things. What I'm saying is, say you're broke, like right now. Say you have no money. Say you're behind on rent, and you're just at the mercy of your landlord right now. And she's getting like, okay, I like you a lot. I've worked with you for the last 2 months, but you haven't paid me a dime in the last 2 months. TikTok, need my money. And you're like, I know I shouldn't be on YouTube right now. I know that I should go be doing something that would bring in money. But I don't know what to do because however much time I'm putting in, I'm still not getting ahead. And that's a sinking feeling. But it's not just the feeling of sinking. You're actually sinking. The ship is sinking, brother. Say you're a single parent. You got kids. And you got rent coming up and you don't have any money. What are you going to do? Okay, so maybe you're there right now. Okay. And so that's a pretty hopeless feeling. It is. What do you do? What do you do? Well, you got to get some more money. That's the bottom line. And so I don't know what you're going to do. Like I talk on my YouTube all the time about what to do. You could go start a business today. You could go start. I think about this. I'm going single mom, not making enough money. But you could go around, like I live on an island in Florida, and everybody likes their flower beds beautiful. You could charge clients, 150 bucks a month to keep their flower beds looking beautiful. And you could go get, 50 clients. If you focused on that one thing, 100 bucks, you could go mow lawns. You could go paint houses. You could go buy a business today for no cash down, no money out of your pocket. You can do these things, but you're like, oh, I'm sinking. What do I do? Well, you got to get a better job. I don't know what else to tell you. The first thing is not assets right now, other than the asset of your job, because your job definitely is an asset. It's not a repeatable asset. What am I saying? It's not a passive asset. You have to show up to work. You have to put in the time. But think about this. And maybe it's a job you hate. I was just talking to a buddy. He's close to 50 years old. He's like, I don't want to go back to IT, but I need money. And I just got offered this dope IT job where I come in and I'm the senior and I'm the boss. I'm like, bro, go after the freaking money, dude. Get the money. Secure the bag. Get the job. Secure the asset. So the first asset you need is a job that pays. Okay. Now, I don't know what to do to solve your rent check that's due in 10 days or whatever it is, other than, I don't know, bro, start calling the rich people you know. Start calling the rich people you know. Start calling the people you know that are connected. Start calling the people who are networkers and be like, yo, dude, I'll come do anything. What can I do? I bought a pressure washer for 90 bucks. Can I pressure wash your house for 250 bucks today? I'll get it done today. It's going to be cleaner than you've ever seen it. Like, women can do this. Men, of course, can do this, but women can do this too. Go wait tables. Go freaking apply at the city for employment. I don't know what to tell you. You've got to figure out step one. There are so many, like you can go to the SBDC. I don't know if you know this. Here's another resource for you. SBDC. Search the SBDC in your state. Let me show you real quick. Do a quick screen share here. Select tab to share. Entire screen. We're going to go here. SBDC. Let's go to Florida. Florida SBDC homepage. Every state in the United States has an SBDC. Okay, this is going to change your life. If you really want, you already pay for this. If you're a taxpayer, if you have voluntarily opted into the income tax, because it's voluntarily you opt into it. You don't owe that income tax. If you correct your status and you notify your legislators, you literally, there's 63 million non-filers in the United States and growing. And so you already pay for this if you volunteered to report on yourself with a 1040 or W-2, or not a W-2, whatever the form is, 1040 or whatever. Okay, so then you go, okay, well, if I live in Florida, where do I live? I live here, Florida Gulf Coast University. Okay, I live down in this area. It's Tampa Bay area. That looks like that is Tampa Bay, and then I'm kind of like down here. And then this looks like Naples, Fort Myers, whatever. Anyway, so you got this, but I'm in Sarasota County,
So we're six. So here would be my SBDC. So here. We help, look at this. We help small businesses launch, grow, and thrive. But did you know? I mean, this is amazing, y'all. Come on, come on. I'm helping those people who need money today. These people don't charge you a dime because you've already paid for it. Our services, look at their services. Whether you have 2 minutes, 2 years, start here to gain the knowledge you need to help your business thrive. Consulting, so mentorship. Our small business consultants understand. They work with you one-on-one to bring method to the madness. But listen, look at, sorry, I'm clicking here. Wondering how the Florida SBDC can help your business? Sign up for a no-cost consulting appointment today. Request consulting. This is amazing. You don't even have to pay for it. Okay, so go find the SBDC. Here, look at it. I'll do it again. SBDC WASTE. SBDC, Washington Small Business Development Center. Helping Washington businesses grow and succeed. Contact us for confidential, no-cost business advising, guys. No cost. You've already paid for it. So the government wants to tell you this bullshit, excuse my French, no-cost business advice. It does cost. You already paid for it. They're lying. They do this all the time. But you don't have to pay more for it because they've already pulled it from your paycheck if you've opted into paying taxes. So you go contact an advisor. There you go. Contact an advisor. Go ahead. Do it. Go do it. Stop making excuses and go do the freaking work. How do I stop this? Stop. And oh, no, not yet. I got to stop the share. There we go. Okay. So if you need money today, I can't find a mentor. They all want money. Somebody told me that this week or a few weeks ago. Mentors just want money. No, they don't. Go to the SBDC. You already paid them, you idiot. Go to the SBDC. get a mentor at the SBDC. Get a consultant for no cost. It's amazing. Anyways, okay, so there's that. I want to tell you this. Poor people focus on their paycheck. Rich people focus on acquiring assets. So the asset, once you, and an asset doesn't have to be a house. An asset doesn't have to be purchasing a business. An asset can be a job. Get your job first. If you want a better job, get some training to get a better job. If you want to start a business, go to the SBDC, get free mentorship. You can start a business on the side while you have a job. There's a lot of resources through the SBDC, okay? I don't know why somebody, if you're at the bottom right now, if you're like broke right now, why wouldn't you go to the SBDC? Just go do it, okay? A mentor is an asset to a certain extent. Mentor is especially if you don't have to buy mentorship. Oh my God, like that's crazy. Anyways, so how to get rich? One thing, it's not, you got to be nice. You got to network. Nope. You got to get the shilajit. Nope. You got to wake up before him. Nope. Cold plunges every day. Nope. Get Tony Robbins to hear your story and maybe he'll, no. Write a hit song. No. Get a great job. No. Shut up. If you only did one thing, every single day, and this is where poor people, again, they get it wrong. They don't think about assets. They think about knowledge or a paycheck or I got to sell this product and then that'll get me through for another 3 months. And then I got to go sell another one, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going like, that's a horrible for me. That'll be horrible way to live. It doesn't work. And so the idea is, and this is not like a new idea. Is which one needs to come up here? I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a little crooked. I don't know because it's mirrored, and so I'm like, oh, that's actually my right hand, and but I'm pointing to the right side of it. Okay, yeah, it's mirrored. Okay, so anyways, you have to buy assets, not buy assets. Excuse me. You have to acquire assets. And so if you had a job
Like there's this job. So I go, if I was starting over today, I didn't have any assets. What would I do? I'd get a job, or else I'd start a business and begin selling. So it would probably be like, what business would I start? I'd probably start like, hmm, like a like a driving business, or or go buy a pool business, or go buy a landscaping business, or something that's really simple, okay, but they can get me a little bit of margin every month. That's what you're going for. If you want to acquire assets, okay, you're like, okay, so if you believe the first 40 minutes of what I've been saying, okay, I need to acquire assets. My first asset is a job. I can do that. Okay, but that job needs to be able to give you margin. What's margin? Margin is a little bit extra every month. It doesn't have to be a lot extra, but a little bit extra every month. How do you get a little bit extra every month? You have a budget. A budget. Okay. So job first, budget second. When we have a job, we know exactly what's coming in. Okay. We know exactly what our bottom line is. Why do they call it the bottom line? Because after all, after your income is top line, because it's at the top of the financial statement, your revenue. And then after all your expenses, you got your bottom line. That's what you take home. Then you still have to pay taxes on that, unless you're operating in trust. There's amazing ways to get it out of taxes for people that are not W-2. I mean, there's ways you can get out of filing your W-2, or paying income taxes, or payroll taxes, period, or filing 1040s. That's pretty cowboy. That's sailing the private ship with, Captain Jack Sparrow. But people do it all the time. 63 million of them. But that's what I'm saying is, okay, stop all the complicated stuff and just focus on, if you can get a job that can provide you a little bit of margin, what do you want that margin to be? And then you go, okay, well, maybe I can make, after all my expenses, and if I really strictly hold to a budget, maybe I can get 500 extra bucks per month. Maybe I want a job where I can, all my monthly expenses, say they're $5,000. I don't know what your expenses. So your monthly expenses are $5,000. Well, you need a job that pays you, 5,500. Got it? Okay, that's how you get your five. Or else you do something on the weekends to get you an extra 500 bucks a month. Or you start a little flower bed business on the side and you get an extra 500 bucks a month. You only need 5 homes at 100 bucks a month and pulling all their flower beds and shit to get your $500 margin. Like, stop being a pussy. Like, go do it. And then shut the hell up and just turn your emotion off. And then you take that 500, okay? What I would do with my money is I'd put it in a high interest bearing account. And I'm going 5%. That's about as good as you can get today in a bank account. But I go, hey, it's better than nothing. It's better than negative interest. So I go, okay, I'm going to put this in a 5%. So not only am I making 500 bucks a month, okay, I'm making 500 bucks a month plus, is it $5 a month, which is five? No. What's 1% of 1% of 500 is $5. Okay. And so you're going, okay, well, 5% every month would be 5 times 5 is 25. So 525 bucks. Okay. So there's little ways that you can put your money places to where it grows for you. And so you're getting a little bit more margin. Do you know what I'm saying? And then what you're doing is you're building upon this. Okay. Big things have small beginnings. Jesus used the example of a mustard seed and then the tree that grows from the mustard seed. The mustard seed is the largest of trees, but start with a little seed. The seed is the smallest. Okay. So you got to plant that seed today if you want to eat the fruit of the tree 10, 20 years from now. Warren Buffett said, because he's the greatest investor of all time or whatever, and he said, how do you invest? How do you become a good investor? He says, well, when's the best time to plant a tree? he answers his own question. He says, 20 years ago. So you're 20 years behind if you haven't planted a seed. You're 20 years behind. But what's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. And people go, I only got $100. What am I going to do with $100 extra per month? You're going to freaking invest it. That's what you're going to do. You're going to go get a Fidelity investing account. You're going to go buy stock. That's what you're going to go freaking do, you idiot. Stop. You want to be broke? Do you want to be poor? You have to invest. You can't just earn. And so what poor people do with bad morals, with bad money morals, they make a lot of money and then their lifestyle just increases. It goes up and they want to like drive the fancy car. They want to live in the neighborhood. They want to pay a $6,000 mortgage, you know. And for every dollar they're making, they're spending $1.33. Forbes, 2017. For every $1, that was now 7 years ago, right? 2017, before back to 7 years ago, said for every dollar in America, the average American brings in, this is close to 80% of Americans, for every dollar they earn, they're spending $1.33. Stupid. That is bloody, blatantly stupid, and you deserve to be poor. You deserve the cheese to move on you. I don't wish that for anybody. I wish that it was as simple as that. I wish that you could just get a paycheck and you'd be happy working. And, you know, there's this guy in town. I keep telling him, bro, you got to invest, dude. You got to invest. And the thing that I would invest, he has a tree business. And I go, do you realize that you through technology are going away? The market's need for you is leaving, and it's leaving rapidly. There are trucks now. There are trucks now. It's crazy. Florida's, I don't know, Florida's a big thing for this, trees and stuff, and hurricanes and, you know, windstorms and tropical depressions and blah, blah, blah. So the tree thing, there's a lot of tree companies around here that cut down trees, trim trees, you know, turn the tree into bark, whatever. And for years, especially in this area here in Venice where I live, it's mostly older people. The average age is 80 something. It's the average age around here. So there's not much technology going on. We're stuck back in the early 2000s. A lot of these companies, they've been around for years, but they don't realize the cheese is moving. And your job is becoming obsolete very quickly. They have these trucks now they have a lift on the truck. But it's crazy because the lift on the truck, they have this arm. And basically with the saw, it's like, imagine like a lift, okay? And then there's like this hand almost. It's like a claw. Okay, so imagine the claw grabs the tree branch that you have to cut down, but off to the side of it, there's like this blade, this saw. It's like 8 to 10 foot saw, looks like. And the arm, the hand thing, the claw grabs the tree. The thing chops the tree, and the claw takes it down and puts it on the ground. But I've still got Mowgli, freaking Tarzan, my buddy. He's great at swinging around trees. He knows all about trees. He knows cavities in trees. He knows what to take down. He knows what you can leave. He knows how to remove dangerous stumps that are hanging over someone's roof. He knows how to do all this crazy stuff. And I'm going, bro, he's making good money. He did a $50,000 month a couple months ago. And I'm going, bro, get one of those trucks, bro, because those trucks in the next 3 to 5 years are going to put you out of business. And what does he do? Well, he has excess at the end of the year that his stupid ass CPA told him, oh, well, you need to spend this money or else you're going to have to go give it to the government. So you might as well just get a golf cart with it. And he rolls up in this decked out $20,000 golf cart. People have golf carts all around here. Florida's the golf capital of the world. It's a cultural thing. But the idiot goes and gets the golf cart. Here, check it. He rolls up to my house with his kids in the back, bumping, oh yeah, check this, yeah, cool. Speakers, lights, this is great, dude. Yeah, it's like, it's like, cool. Freaking retarded. Why? He bought a liability. Stupid ass idiot poor dude who makes $50,000 a month accidentally being Tarzan. He's always talking, I'm sore, but like, what? Like, bro, could you not take $17,000 or whatever you had to spend and put it as a down payment on one of those big boom trucks? Now, maybe he don't want to do it. I'm just going, he ain't thinking straight. He's thinking like a poor idiot. That's how poor people think. If your plan, if your tax strategy is at the end of the year, you made too much money, so now you got to go spend it on a car, that's freaking retarded. I want to say bad words right now. That's so retarded. I can't even can't comprehend that. That's not a tax plan. He should have gone and gotten an unincorporated trust. He would have never had to pay earned income, ever. Pay taxes on earned income. Never would have had to pay income tax. Never would have had to pay capital gains tax. Everything could have flowed through that trust. But he ain't there because he don't know. Because why? He's a broker. He's a broke loser. He's not a loser. I'm just saying that the mindset is poor. It doesn't matter how much you're making. It matters the assets that you're able to acquire that are less expensive to own and that give you cash flow every year rather than they costing you, like a house, like a golf cart. All these things they're just liabilities. They're costing you. Okay, so that's the disconnect between the poor and the rich. That's the gap that's so hard to fill. It's so hard to fill that gap. Why? Because it's what you believe. It's what people are telling you. It's that you've believed a lie and it's too complicated, man. This is coming from a guy that didn't come from money. My parents are not entrepreneurial wolves. My dad doesn't have an entrepreneurial gene in his body. My mom does. My dad doesn't. Okay? My knowledge of money growing up, I didn't have any. None, bro. My mom tried to get us to budget. I didn't budget. I cheated all the time, dude. I cheated my way through school. But what's cheating? You got the answers right on the test. So how is that cheating? Right? How much have you ever used trigonometry or calculus or advanced algebra? How often? I own a bookkeeping practice. When do we use advanced algebra? When do we solve 4x? Through gyrations and parallelograms and geometry. Get the hell out of here, you idiots. Not you. I'm just going, guys. Whatever, dude. If you want to be broke, then don't listen to me. Okay? If you want to, being rich is not about knowing someone. It's not about screwing someone. In a few years, my wife and I became rich. How do I define rich? All of your assets pay for all of your monthly expenses. It's so passive right now, like the last 2 months. It's been so passive. And in fact, I've had to do quite a bit of work on my triplexes, my triplex, and then the other house over there. But dude, it's all good because it ebbs and flows. It was like a week of hard work. And the rest of the last 2 months have just been like, this is awesome. So I get a break until I go hard into these government contracts. That's my next move. Is I want government contracts. Why? Because we're selling to the wrong freaking people, guys. Because the government has a budget of 1.3 trillion with a TTT. $1.3 trillion to spend every year. And I can go get those? And somebody from the SBDC who's an expert can train me how to do that for free? It ain't free. I already paid for it. But you know what I'm saying? I utilize the SBDC. Why would I not? Come on. Amazing, y'all. Okay. Now you don't have any excuse. 5-year plan. You want a 5-year plan to get rich. Only 5 years. You could be 75. And in 5 years, you can have all of your assets pay for all of your monthly expenses. I'm old. I worked my whole life. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. I'm not talking about going and sweating your balls off in the garden I'm saying that if you're 75 and you don't have an inheritance, you're broke. I'll never make money. You had 75 years to figure out this asset thing and you didn't figure it out. That's okay. Okay. I'll give you a pass this time. If you started your life off poor, that's not your fault. If you end your life poor, it's 1,000% your fault. Money doesn't solve all the issues of life. Yes, it does. Money answers all things. I think that's Ecclesiastes. It's in God's word. The word of Yahweh, his son. It's his word. Money answers all things. It solves all the freaking problems. You want peace in the world? Make a deal. Make a deal. Do you want to solve for your poverty? Make a deal. For an asset that gives you more money every month than it costs you. It could be a vending machine. It could be a driving business. You could drive people to and from the airport. I was talking to somebody, some old guy, a couple of weeks ago. And I go, dude's broke. Dude's broke. Dude's broke. Dude's great. He's my friend. Love him. Dude's broke. 70 something years old. Broke. Picked me up from the airport. He said, hey, you know what? Somebody came into the shop where I work. And they told me that they have a driving business where they take people to and from the airport. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, it's $80 to go to Fort Myers. It's $60 to go to Sarasota. It's $125 to go to Tampa. I'm like, wow, that's a great job. It's a great job. Old broke dude says, yeah, if you like to drive. I'm like, oh my God. If you like to drive. What about if you like to pay your freaking bills? It's a good job then. God, I'm just like, just want to like. It doesn't matter how old you are. That's the crazy. Oh, you're a young guy. You don't know how little energy I have. Then shut the fuck up. Shut up. Get your mind right. Go make some freaking money and purchase an asset. The next thing that you have to do. Remember, no shilajit, no cold plunges, no reading books and meditations and affirmations. Go focus on buying an asset. It gives you more money every month than it costs you. Buy one asset every year for 5 years. One asset every year for 5 years. And see if you're not able to quit your job, your day job. All you need is 5 assets, dude. How is it not possible that if you took every day of your life, every working day, take the weekends off, I don't care. If you took every working day of your life, if you're broke,
Okay? Because it's going to take you time. It's going to cost time. But if every day of your life you said, for an hour a day, that's 300-ish days in a year, 300 hours in a year, basically, to work on acquiring one simple asset. How could you not do that? How are you incapable of doing that? You're not. What you're incapable of is discipline, self-discipline. What you're incapable of is distraction. You're too distracted. You're not able to focus. What you're incapable of is giving yourself a command and you following through with that command. That's what you're not capable of. Because I know that if you have a mind and you have hands, you don't even need hands. Who's that guy? Jason, whatever. He doesn't have hands and he doesn't have legs. He doesn't have feet. He has stubs. He has on one hand, I think he's got like 2 fingers. I forget the guy's name. He's amazing, amazing human being. He's got a beautiful wife. She's a fox. And he's got 2 or 3 kids, his own children. Dude makes millions of dollars a year public speaking. And you have lived on this earth for 70 years and you can't buy one asset, you loser. You're going to just tell yourself that you're a loser and you can't do it and you're going to go watch Netflix and live off the government and leave nothing to your children. This is the way. Say you were in prison until you were 70. Say you were in prison for 40 years. You just got out, you're sick. You know you're going to die probably in the next few years. I don't know what agreements you've made with yourself, but this is one thing that I know, that you don't have to leave your heirs with nothing. You don't have to leave the earth with nothing. You don't have to live a life where you did nothing. You can go acquire assets. You can do it. Anyone can do it. And if you take 300 hours every year in 1 year, how can you not do it? Are you retarded? Literally, when I say that's retarded, I'm not talking about people who are literally actually handicapped. I'm talking about self-inflicted retardation. Someone who has Down syndrome, it ain't their fault. But someone who's broke at 75, it is their fault. That's retarded. And that's just a sign that you've been distracted for far too long. And it doesn't, well, you don't know the hits that I've taken. I don't give a shit what hits you've taken. It doesn't matter because nobody's going to save you from those hits and they've already happened. And you're, bye, adios, water under the bridge, bro. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? Grandma Moses, the famous painter who's painting sell for millions, she started painting at 85. She did her first painting at 85 years old. And she's world famous as a painter. And her works are worth millions. Grandma Moses. Why can't you be Grandpa Moses? Why can't you 20, 30, 40, 50 years? It doesn't matter. Just take 5 years and acquire an asset every year. After 5 years, give or take a couple years. Because some people can do it less time. Some people it takes a little longer. But I just go every year. It's like it should be a challenge. Just acquire an asset. Okay, I'll shut up. The asset is the answer, y'all. The asset is the answer to wealth. If you just have a paycheck, you're not wealthy. Just because you can afford to go on vacations doesn't mean that you're off the treadmill. That's how I define it. I'm not on the treadmill anymore. Acquiring one asset per year is not a treadmill. It's doable for anybody. Okay, that's all I'll say. God bless you. I hope this has helped. And I hope now you can tell yourself and stop lying to yourself that you don't know what it takes. What course do I buy? You don't need a course. Where do I go to do this? I go back to my videos and go watch my videos. Okay. I've got hours and hours on here of talks like this, telling you I'm not the most eloquent.
I don't know it all. The next thing, kind of the next step is, well, how do I acquire something with no money? Okay, now you're asking the right questions. Okay. And we get, at some point I'll be talking about that. There's Derek Whitehead. I'll tell you this guy. He teaches you how to operate an aged C Corp that's a shelf company. It's a shelf corporation that has 3 years of tax reporting. 3 full years of tax reporting from January to April. January to April. Okay. January to April. Okay. January to April. 3. Okay. He makes these, he structures these, he sells these, and he shows you exactly how to go in and buy one to where you can get funded up to $300,000 to $500,000 right away. You can take your company public with 30 investors. This is crazy, guys. I'm just saying that, but you don't need to start all complicated. Go buy a vending machine. If you've never bought anything before, go buy a vending machine. Put it somewhere. I don't know. Where do I put it? I don't know. Research it. Ask your mentor on the SBDC. If this is not solid, you're stupid. I don't mean to keep calling people stupid. I use colorful language. I'm definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm short, but I'm slow on the playing field. I'm barely 5'10". Barely. I do have a good brow line, my wife tells me. And my assets do pay for all of my monthly expenses. Okay. And so now I'm focused on one more major asset this year. And by December, by God, I'm going to have that asset. And what I have to do to get that asset is increase my monthly revenue by $5,000 per month. I have to do that by October, November to then be able to hire someone for December. That's my challenge right now. Chris Crone probably goes, I could do that with my eyes closed. I'm going, well, I can't, but day by day, 1 hour days. Working for yourself for an hour. Work for yourself for an hour a day for the next 5 years. And then see where you end up. Acquire assets. Okay, God bless. Like, subscribe, share. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share the video with someone who needs to hear this, who it could encourage them. And the resources, some of the resources I'm getting, the SBDC, come on. It's amazing. And then the knowledge that now you know what it takes to get rich. Cut out the noise. Stop focusing on the paycheck and focus on the asset. And you're going to be rich. And once your assets pay for all of your monthly expenses, you have infinite wealth. I'll talk to you later.